So, Fresh Baked, in an effort to boost public awareness for the best practices to help fight the spread of coronavirus, specifically here in Orange County and Los Angeles, Disney has kicked off a public service campaign. The Together We Can Be Incredible campaign features characters from Pixar's The Incredibles, and it'll share tips and reminders of important health and safety measures throughout Southern California. So we're going to preview that campaign and talk about what this means with respect to Disney's reaction to the recent shutdown, as well as the direction they're going to be taking going forward next on Fresh Baked. Hello again, everybody, and welcome back to Fresh Baked. So this new campaign has probably come in a bit under the radar and will likely not draw a lot of attention from Disney news sites or the general public. But as is often the case, I feel like there's something to be learned from this campaign beyond its actual purpose. The idea of the campaign is to leverage some of the popularity from The Incredibles and use it in order to advance awareness of public health and safety issues. We've got Edna Mode, and she's here to tell you that masks are fabulous, darling. Violet reminds us to keep our distance and respect the bubble. Same for Mrs. Incredible. We've also got Dash reminding us to wash our hands quickly, I guess. As for visibility, the campaign will be shown in many public areas using some of the biggest venues throughout the county. You'll see ads at Angel Stadium, the Anaheim Transportation Center, the Hana Center, and various restaurants and shops probably around the city. And I feel like this is really where we might actually get some really good response from the general public with regard to following the best practices for health and safety. I think it's a great idea for Disney to finally get on board and using their popular IPs to gain more traction with more families, more youth. It's one thing for the government to tell us to wear a mask and practice social distancing, but often it is the case where that might engender a little more rebellion for people. They just generally don't like the government telling them what to do. But it's another story when that message is perhaps coming from a familiar, friendly face like Mrs. Incredible. I just wish they had done it sooner, really, to be honest. Months ago. They could have been doing this months ago, but they're doing it now, and that's the most important thing. We do need to get that message out there in more ways than just coming from the state, which does actually beg the question, why now? Why are they finally doing this now? What does it mean that Disney has taken this new direction? Well, from my perspective, this to me says that Disney is not trying to fight the shutdown order or even the tier guidelines for that matter. Disney appears to be using their influence to now fight the virus from the ground up, to try and win the fight rather than to fight the fight, fighting the guidelines. With this, I do not, for example, expect to see Disney try to take Newsom or the state of California to court to help fight the guidelines. I think this decision is grounded in the idea that Disney cannot afford to be the company that appears to put profits ahead of public health. As much as they want to be open, as evidenced by Walt Disney World in Florida, which they are definitely open, they can't or won't do it in opposition to state guidelines. I also do not expect to be hearing anything else from Disney with regard to public statements, i.e. from Kevin Potrock, for example. They had been very vocal, along with some other agencies, in politicking, petitioning the state to allow Disney to reopen. But you won't be hearing from them for a little while still. And that's due, obviously, to the rising cases that we've seen in such a short time. Both, really in Southern California, but nationwide, we're seeing a rise in cases. So they can't really afford to take that position. It's a public relations nightmare. But again, this doesn't mean that they don't want to reopen or they're not trying to reopen. They definitely are. They're just going to they're going to go to the very limit that the state allows them to. In the meantime, the Together We Can Be Incredible public awareness campaign is definitely a great way to gain more momentum toward a return to the parks. It's Disney using its influence for good, not just its own, but for the general public as well. In fact, I'd like to see them take this many steps further. Ad campaigns on television, animated shorts in the same vein as those done back in the 40s with the war effort. Take the lead rather than waiting for the situation to resolve itself or waiting for science or something else. Take some sort of initiative and do what they can to further the cause, to gain more momentum. In the meantime, please be safe out there, Fresh Baked. Remember to wear a mask and be respectful of those around you. Love your neighbor. Otherwise, thanks again for watching, everybody. Together we can be incredible, and we'll see you next time. Fresh Baked!